News of Aegon's return has set the Queen on a dark path.
You have an absolute power within your grasp. You have only to wield it.
He and Roxton have some secret plot afoot. He has kept it even from me.
Are you still prepared to die for our Queen?
Can't fucking wait.
Our father would hate you for this.
Two paths diverge before you.
Whether you live or die today,
Victory
you will be remembered in the histories.
or a mountain of dead high towers.
There'll be no doubt who the gods have chosen to rule.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is my House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 8 finale trailer video. There are a whole bunch of Easter eggs, references to the books, and WTF moments because it is the last episode of the season, so we will break it all down. As you probably noticed, YouTube is still helping me fix my channel after it got hacked, so hopefully that'll all be taken care of in the next couple of days, but if you notice anything weird happening with my channel the next couple of days, that's why. Looking at the trailer footage, it would not be a Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon finale without some betrayal in the mix. Backstabbing and betrayal are just the name of the game of Thrones, to make all the puns possible. In the Game of Thrones, you win or die. The overwhelming majority of the footage focuses on the Battle of Tumbleton and what's happening in King's Landing right next to Tumbleton. Not so much on Aegon, but there is some Aegon name drops because they say that word of Aegon's return and Sunfire have started to reach Rhaenyra now, so she's really starting to get pissed off. I think it's notable that they start on a shot of the Sept in King's Landing. I think they might reference the Shepherd in the finale for a Season 4 storyline, and it's meant to connect to Helena's dragon dream about her riding Dreamfire in the Dragon Pit, giving a Dracarys to all the small folk that were rushing the Dragon Pit. But because we are in the finale and there's not nearly enough time to flesh that storyline out, I'm expecting the Shepherd to be a big Season 4 subplot. Without getting too deep into that, we don't need to get too far ahead of the story. The faith in the small folk become a big problem for Rhaenyra because of all the different problems in King's Landing that the small folk are having right now.
The Queen wishes, at the moment, to hear no more petitions.
That is a mistake.
We've seen a cascading series of disasters in King's Landing, so things in the city are just really bad, especially after the Gold Cloaks all quit. So there's really not that much of a police force. There's a city watch, but they're not nearly as good as the Gold Cloaks. So just chaos is running rampant through the city right now, so things are really bad. This will all lead to the Shepherd storyline. When Orwell is telling Rhaenyra that Aegon has returned and Sunfire is back, notice she's looking at her crown, and in frame she's also looking at her father's model of the Valyrian freehold, so she's thinking all about destiny, prophecy, and all that talk that Daemon was giving her in a previous episode trying to gas her up about making a new Valyria across the world, conquering the world, which is basically what Daenerys was talking to Jon Snow about in the original Game of Thrones finale when she started to lose her mind too. So they really want to make it seem like Rhaenyra is not in a good mind state right now. We get a really quick shot of the Hull brothers, Adam talking to Alan. It's not clear where they are when this is happening, if they're still in King's Landing, because most of the shots we've seen of Alan are still in King's Landing, and for the most part, he was focused primarily on using Valyrian troops to shore up the defenses inside the King's Landing city, not what was happening at Tumbleton specifically. Adam, as one of the Dragon Seeds, would be more concerned with what's happening at Tumbleton because he'd be part of that fight. We get this absolutely wild trailer edit where you see Rhaenyra pissed off grabbing Baela's face, like, oh, she looks so mad here. It's not clear what she's pissed off about because she's been mad at Baela for Jace's death for a number of episodes now, but there might be something else that Baela says to her about Rhaena, probably, that pisses her off even more. We get voiceover of Daemon talking to Rhaenyra about the actual coming Battle of Tumbleton. You have absolute power in your grasp. All you have to do is wield it. He's talking about all the dragons. I think he's trying to convince Rhaenyra that they should just burn Tumbleton. Like, just burn it to the ground. And yes, we'll kill a bunch of innocent people, but we'll get rid of the Greens. Daemon is wild in that way that he seems so apologetic and so protective of Rhaena in last week's episode, but on a dime, he can just pivot and not care about civilian lives, small folk lives. There was an earlier episode where he said, it's war, people die, like just get over it. This is how much he cares for the innocent lives in Tumbleton. While that's happening, we get a shot of him with Oscar Tully and Roderick Dustin of the Winter Wolves getting ready to treat with Ormond Hightower before their big battle with both of their armies posted up right at Tumbleton. There's this little structure far away from Tumbleton where it just seems like they're holding this actual meeting.
Let's get ready
All these edits just make it seem like Rhaenyra is going to make all kinds of bad decisions, and a lot of the people around her are responsible for that too, just as complicit, like Daemon trying to get her to do all these crazy things. Mysaria's been spending all these episodes whispering in her ears too, trying to influence Rhaenyra. We get a shot of Ormond Hightower and Jon Roxton getting ready for the battle, with Daeron talking to Gawain about their secret plot that he knows nothing about. He's talking about the dragon seeds. He's finally convinced Ulf White and Silverwing to come to the side of the Greens, so at some point during the Battle of Tumbleton, they're going to turn on the Blacks and help the Greens. Currently, the only other dragon they have that we know of right now is Tessarion and Daeron. There are other dragons that are going to be there, so I think I just want to set up the idea that it's going to be complete chaos, and Daemon doesn't have the absolute advantage in terms of dragon math that he thinks he has. So they really want you to head into the battle thinking that it could be anybody's game, like the Greens might have a chance. We get a really quick shot of Daemon inside their tent preparing for the battle, talking to Roderick Dustin, asking him if he's ready to die for Rhaenyra. Like, are you sure about that? Because when they first met earlier this season, Roderick Dustin came out of the woods saying, "We come to die for the Dragon Queen." So Daemon is just trying to remind him, like, you told me you're ready to die for our queen. Are you still ready to die for her? And I love his answer. Absolutely. He is definitely ready to die. They came to the South because that's just the custom in the North, that a lot of times the older members of the family, when resources got scarce, would leave the family and go off to die in some honorable way so there'd be more resources to feed the younger members of the family. We can call that the House Stark retirement plan. Oscar Tully doesn't seem like he's quite so ready to die for Rhaenyra, even though he is committed to the cause. He just seems like he's a little bit worried, but he is a very young, inexperienced summer child, so like he isn't as ready to die as Roderick Dustin is. And it kind of seems like Oscar Tully is also worried that Daemon is going to make some crazy bad decisions during the battle here too. It's not totally clear what Helaena is talking to Rhaenyra about when she says, "Our father would hate this," talking about Viserys. My assumption is it has something to do with the Battle of Tumbleton and maybe burning the city, and Helaena doesn't like that. Like, she didn't like her dragon dream about being on Dreamfire and burning the small folk. She wouldn't want to do something like that. This is why she told Rhaenyra that riding Dreamfire was just too much for her emotionally right now. It's not totally clear why Rhaenyra is crying here with Daemon. Maybe she's thinking about Jace or just like everything that's been happening this season that's been weighing on her. We get a number of different shots of the armies all squaring off like the Winter Wolves and all the different forces. We get a really quick shot of Alicent in the woods outside Harrenhal. Remember, she thought that she killed Aemond and she was trying to escape, so we'll see what happens with her in the finale. I think she will eventually make it back to King's Landing. My early prediction short term is that Alice Rivers wants to make people believe that Aemond really is dead so that she can just continue to hide him. But remember, the Freys were also coming to Harrenhal, so we will see how Aemond and Vhagar deal with the Freys when they show up trying to take the castle. Alice Rivers probably going to do everything she can to get rid of the Freys.
If Aemond is dead, all the better. But in any case, you shall occupy it again and leave no place for him to return.
We get a speech of Corlys Velaryon talking to someone about the two paths, whether you live or die today, victory or a bunch of dead Hightowers. So he's talking to a Hightower. It might be to Daeron or Gawain. It's not clear. He might be talking to Ormond Hightower, but I don't know if we'd see Ormond Hightower inside the cells talking to him. It'd be more likely that Daeron or someone else would go to talk to him in the cells. During last week's episode, Daeron was trying to find a more peaceful solution, and he was trying to become Daeron the Daring from the books, earn his nickname, so he might try to sacrifice himself during the battle to try and prevent more bloodshed. We get another shot of Daemon on his horse in his armor, calling out to the army's big battle charge before they actually start the real fight. You also notice he doesn't have the wings on his helmet anymore. It's like a slightly different helmet. I think the idea is that in the past, either that helmet got damaged with the dragon wings on it, or it was just meant to be a ceremonial helmet, and he has actual battle armor that's just much more functional. Like, it would be very impractical to wear that helmet from Season 1 in an actual fight. During Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Steely Pate had a whole speech to Dunk about why this was the case and why you wanted simpler armor. You didn't want costume armor if you were actually going to fight somebody. They prepare more of the defenses inside Tumbleton. Then we see Alanafol with a casket behind him marching through King's Landing with the city guard, so it's not clear who's in the casket, but my early prediction is it'll wind up being Corlys Velaryon. You can let me know who you think's in the casket in the comments. It just really seems like they want you to think that Corlys is going to die in the finale. We get a couple more battle scenes of them making it onto the walls and into the city, hacking away at all the Greens. We get a very ominous shot of Hugh Hammer, who's getting ready for the battle too, but notice the stonework behind him. This is at King's Landing, probably, so he probably just really upset about what's happening with the Battle of Tumbleton and what's going on with their plan. So just keep your eyes on him in the finale too, because remember right now, he has the biggest living dragon next to Vhagar, and the dragon seeds seem like they're slowly being turned to the greens. Betrayal is the name of the game in the finale. It looks like what's happening in this wide shot here of the city is that the Greens are actually laying this fire trap to try and create some defenses from the army of Rivermen and Winter Wolves, but we'll see how well it works because it looks like they all make it into the city no matter what. You have to remember they have 20,000 men, and I think the Greens were supposed to have about 15,000 men inside the city. We get a really quick shot of Gwaine Hightower and Daemon rushing the battlefield too with the other Green troops. I think they actually appeared in the tapestry intro in last week's episode based on the way their armor is colored. Like it looks just like Gwaine's armor and just like Daemon's armor too, just what he was wearing. Definitely does not bode well for the two of them that they were on the tapestry, and it did not look good. We get a really quick shot of Daemon on the battlefield looking at Vermithor and Hugh Hammer flying over the troops in the background too. It seems like he's a little confused about what's going on. And then it seems like Aemond is walking through Harrenhal, looking up in the sky. I think he might be seeing Vhagar. Maybe Vhagar comes back to Harrenhal in the finale.
Ta-da! The goat is back.
We get a really quick shot of Vermithor flying over the city, Daemon in the city covered in blood like they're in the middle of the fight, and then a couple more scenes of him hacking his way through the streets here, looking for Ormond Hightower probably, and for Daemon. You remember their real mission here is to, 1, kill Ormond Hightower to cut the snake off at its head, but also get rid of Daemon because he has a claim to the Iron Throne, so Daemon had made up his mind he was going to kill Daemon a long time ago. They end the trailer with a wide shot of Caraxes flying over the city like he's about to Dracarys everybody, and then Rhaenyra in the Red Keep from that earlier scene looking at the crown and at her father's model of the Valyrian Freehold, saying there'll be no doubt who the gods have chosen to rule, getting as prophecy drunk as she has been previously. That's kind of been her thing this season. She's slowly succumbed to this idea that she was destined, chosen by the gods to rule, and she is the prince who was promised, who was meant to stop the Long Night, spoken of in the Valyrian dagger that her father told her about, Aegon's dragon dream of the Long Night. We, of course, who have read the books, seen the original Game of Thrones series, know that the Long Night isn't coming for over 100 years, and she is not the prince who was promised, or the princess who was promised. It also kind of seems like based on what Daemon was talking to Rhaenyra about seeing Daenerys in his visions, he didn't mention the word Daenerys, he just said a girl that looked just like us. Daemon knew that it was a different girl, it wasn't Rhaenyra, but it was meant to come from their line, like he took that meaning from it, but he didn't understand exactly what it meant. He just saw that he saw dragons in their future, so it kind of sounds like he took that as a portent that they would be able to create a new Valyria and dragons would reign supreme, when that's not really what the vision meant. The only other stuff that we don't really see in this trailer are a lot of Aegon and Sunfire and where they go next. My assumption is they'll actually make a beeline for Dragonstone in the Dragon Pit, so we'll see what they do in the finale, but it's supposed to be a slightly longer finale, so I definitely think they're going to give us a moment foreshadowing what Aegon is doing during the events of Season 4, but for the most part, like the big event of the finale is the Battle of Tumbleton. Everybody keep your eyes on the dragon seeds, particularly Ulf White, because we know from last week's episode that he is definitely 100% going to betray them mid-battle. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below and all your predictions for the finale, because next week is the last episode of the season. My full episode 8 finale video will post next week after they release it, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. My season 4 video will post after my finale video. So everybody click here for that episode. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for all my other House of the Dragon episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.